You know they will try to kill you. Not a fear you are managing, a known variable. The Sentinelese have killed every outsider on North Sentinel Island for as long as anyone has recorded. In 2006, they killed 2 fishermen whose boat drifted too close, dragged the bodies to the beach, mounted them on stakes visible from the air. The Indian government retrieved nothing. The island is 72 square kilometers in the Bay of Bengal, 50 miles from the Andaman Islands. Illegal to approach within 3 miles. You are 26, from Alabama, planning this for 2 years. Your name is John Allen Chau. You believe God called you to bring the gospel before the Sentinelese die without hearing it. You have a waterproof Bible. You studied Andaman languages for months. You brought fish and coconuts. Historical records show this is how first contacts begin. You hired fishermen who are terrified to take you. Tomorrow, you get in the kayak. You know they will try to kill you. You are going anyway. You spent 2 years preparing for 3 days. The preparation was serious and methodical. You were not reckless, you were deliberate. You studied every available anthropological record on the Sentinelese, which is thin because nobody has gotten close enough. You studied Andaman languages. The Sentinelese language is unknown, but related dialects exist nearby. You learned to swim long distances. You trained with All Nations, a missionary organization that prepares people for first contact situations. You were not the first to try. Indian anthropologists made brief, peaceful contact in the 1990s by leaving coconuts and retreating. The Sentinelese came out and took them. That was the closest anyone had gotten. You studied those interactions obsessively. Experts told you this was dangerous and inadvisable. You heard them. You wrote in your journal that you were more afraid of failing God than of the Sentinelese. You were 26 years old and completely sincere in everything you believed. November 15th, 2018. First approach. You paddle toward the island alone on a kayak, while the fishermen wait outside the exclusion zone. The island looks exactly like every photograph you studied. Dense jungle, white sand beach, completely still. Then you see them, men on the beach, watching. You count at least a dozen. They have bows. You call out a greeting in the Andaman language you practiced for months. No response. A boy starts yelling, not a greeting, a warning. The body language is clear, even across the water. You hold up a fish. You set it on the beach and back away in the kayak. They watch you leave. After several minutes, some of them approach the fish. They take it. You paddle back to the fishing boat and write in your journal for 2 hours. They took the fish. This is contact. You will go back tomorrow and build on this. You are terrified and certain simultaneously. You are not wrong that contact happened. You are deeply wrong about what it means and what comes next. November 16th, second approach. You paddle in again. Something unexpected. A young boy walks toward the water as you approach. Curious, not immediately hostile. Your heart is fast enough that you write about it in physical terms later. Then, the men come from the tree line, not curious. One raises a bow and releases an arrow that hits the waterproof Bible you hold in front of you. The arrow goes through the cover. You back away in the kayak. They are still watching when you reach the fishing boat. The fishermen tell you this is over. They will not take you back. You spend the night writing. You write that you are not angry. You write that the arrow in the Bible feels like a sign, not to stop, that you are in the right place. You write that you forgive them for whatever happens next. Then you spend hours convincing the fishermen to make one final trip. They agree. This is the decision they will carry for the rest of their lives. The night before the last day, you write letters to your parents. You love them. You are grateful for everything. To close friends, to your missionary organization, to your mentor. The letters are not goodbye letters in explicit terms, but they are goodbye letters in emotional weight. Specific gratitude, the tone of someone making sure things are said before a deadline. You are 26 and alive long enough to know what you might be losing, but not long enough to believe it can actually happen to you. You seal the letters and hand them to the fishermen with instructions to mail them if you don't return. Then you sleep. The fishermen say later you seemed calm in the morning. You ate breakfast and prayed. You got into the kayak. You paddled toward the island without looking back at them once. This detail, not looking back, is the one that stays with everyone who hears this story. It means something different to everyone who considers it. November 17th, 2018. You paddle toward the beach alone. The fishermen stay anchored at the boundary of the exclusion zone. You reach the beach and pull the kayak up onto the sand. You stand on North Sentinel Island, one of the only people in modern recorded history to stand on this beach and still be breathing. You walk toward the tree line. Through binoculars, the fishermen watch from the boat. They see figures moving in the jungle. They see you walking. Then they see fast movement. Several men emerging from the tree line toward you. They hear shouting across the water. They cannot make out what is happening clearly at this distance. Then they see you go down. They see the men drag something along the beach. The fishermen do not approach. Approaching means they die too, and they know it. They turn and leave the area. They report to Indian authorities. A helicopter overflies the island the following day. Through the camera on the beach, they see a body. The fishermen are arrested for ferrying you illegally to the exclusion zone. Their names become public. Their families receive threats. 3 of the 7 are eventually convicted. Your family in America issues a statement forgiving the Sentinelese. Your father says he does not blame them. Your body is never recovered. The Indian government makes no attempt. Retrieving it would require sending people onto the island. Your body has been on North Sentinel Island since November 17, 2018. Your journals and letters were recovered from the fishing boat and published. The world read them. You wrote clearly about fear and faith and certainty. You were not a villain in your own story. You were a 26-year-old who believed completely and was wrong about the outcome, and possibly wrong about the premise. The Sentinelese did not ask for what you were bringing. They said so in the only language they have ever needed. Here is what is known about the Sentinelese. Population estimated between 50 and 500. Nobody knows. Language completely unknown. They have fire but no metalworking. They use bows and arrows with iron tips salvaged from shipwrecks on the reef. They have been on this island for an estimated 60,000 years, one of the oldest continuous human populations on Earth. Their hostility has a documented historical cause. In 1880, British administrator Maurice Vidal Portman kidnapped 6 Sentinelese and brought them to Port Blair for study. The adults died from disease. The children were returned sick. What they understood from this is unknown. What their behavior has communicated since is unambiguous. They do not want contact. Every interaction in recorded history confirms this. There is also a public health dimension. They have had no exposure to common diseases for generations, and a single infected outsider could kill their entire population. After your death, the world argued about you for several weeks. Some called you a martyr. Some called you reckless, a man who imposed his beliefs on a people who made their position permanently clear. The missionary community was divided. Anthropologists were largely not. Uncontacted peoples have an absolute right to remain uncontacted. Attempting to breach that boundary, regardless of motivation, violates that right. Intent and outcome are not the same thing. You intended salvation. Entire uncontacted populations have been killed by disease introduced through first contact. Populations in the Amazon as recently as the 1990s. You may have loved the Sentinelese, and simultaneously been the most dangerous thing that ever approached their island. This is not comfortable. It is documented. You believed completely, and were wrong about the outcome, and possibly wrong about the premise, and the distance between those two things is where the argument lives. North Sentinel Island is still there. The exclusion zone is still enforced. The island appears on satellite as a green rectangle in blue water. Occasionally, a helicopter passes at legal distance, and observers see figures on the beach who watch and do not wave. You are still there too. Your body has not left the island. Your journals were published. Your family read them. The world read them. You wrote honestly about fear and faith and certainty. You were 26 and you were gone. The Sentinelese do not know your name. They do not know what a name in your language means. They are living the same life they lived before you came. The island keeps its secrets. It always has. Somewhere on that beach, or in that jungle, is everything that remained of John Allen Chau after November 17, 2018. The island took him and kept him and told the world exactly what it has always told the world. Nobody listened then. Nobody can change it now.